Welcome to the Success Series webinar. This is brought to you by Louisiana State Civil Service, and we are so glad you're here today with us for cyber safety, a subject we have found is definitely needed. I'm Christy Atwood. I am your host for today. Let's go around here. We've got a neat group. Brian, how about introducing yourself and tell us your title?
I am Brian Bailey. I'm the IT director here at State Civil Service.
Excellent. So see, we got the big guy. Okay, and then next to him you'll see Kim.
Hi,
That's Kim Broussard.
that's right. With talent development.
Yay. And co-host.
That's right.
All right. Okay, then that's me right there. Okay, and on the other side.
Hello, everyone. Kalisha Cooper, also with Talent Development as a program manager. Excited to be here.
Yay. And on the far end.
Huey Tran. I'm an information technology supervisor. I work with Brian Bailey, and I'm excited to be here too.
Excellent. Boy, we really have found out that there are things we need to know about. So, yeah, it's a subject we definitely need some help on, and that's what we're going to be doing today is talking about cyber safety. You know, for years we've always talked about, being safe on the streets, in dark alleys and things like that. Now it's different. It's the dark web, and we have to really be careful about what we do online and the things that we do and places we go to see that we practice safety whenever we're dealing with our information, our personal information, or any data we're sharing. And so today, that's what we're about. We're going to be trying to give you some really good ideas. So, to start things off, let's talk about this. Yes, these are some of the things we've seen happen. Have y'all seen many of these kinds of scams? Anybody else got that thing about, your social security number was used to open a new account?
Mm-hmm.
I got that one. Forward this to 10 people, you'll get free airline tickets. Yeah, that always works, right?
I've seen the Nigerian print.
Yeah, the Nigerian print.
I think he did a couple times.
Yeah, and he's cried wolf so many times we won't believe him anymore. GoFundMe, they'll do it for anything. I mean, they're doing it for the Clemson Tigers now. Yeah. So they'll do it for anything. So you got to be careful about those. Those things about the granddaughter, hey, your granddaughter's with me and we don't have money. And then, of course, this is a funny one. Actually saw this online. Here's a fun new quiz to get to know each other better. And it was stuff like, what's your mother's maiden name? What's your pet's name? All the things that we use for passwords. So, have y'all seen any other ones that caught you?
No, those are the most prevalent ones that I've actually seen. And surprisingly, they still work.
Isn't that a shame? Yeah, we let our guard down and people will catch up with us. So these are the kinds of things we want to be careful about, and that kind of builds into some of the rules that we come up with today that are going to help us on that, as a matter of fact. In fact, let's start with some of those rules, the do's and don'ts of connecting in public places. I would like to start out with Brian and Huey on this one, because I would like to get your biggest do or don't in dealing with public Wi-Fi.
Thank you, Christy. Generally, I would advise against public Wi-Fi. If you're not familiar with the area, if it's an open Wi-Fi in an airport, Lowe's, Walmart, retail outlet, I would strongly advise against it, because a lot of these places, they can have spoofed Wi-Fi's. People can set up a Wi-Fi access point and they can steal information very easily. And you, looking at your phone, your laptop, your iPad, whatever, you can easily be tricked into signing into that access point, and you actually give them your information. Anything that you transmit over that device, they can actually take that information, put it back together, and they can get whatever personal information that you've transmitted. So I strongly advise against using a Wi-Fi access point that you're not familiar with. There's some other things that we'll talk about later, ways to secure yourself from these areas if you have to use those.
Mm-hmm. I think we just heard a bunch of indrawn breaths of people realizing, oh, darn. Mm-hmm. Because that's one of those things you're like, I don't want to use up my data. I'll go on free Wi-Fi. And you don't even think about it. And like you were talking about.
Especially at the airport when I'm waiting for my flight, that's the first thing I do is I look for a free Wi-Fi connection and I play on my phone until my flight, it's time for me to board my flight.
Mm-hmm. It's so convenient.
Right? I know. The things that caught me when I was doing the research on this was stuff like And in hotels, you'll go on the Wi-Fi there, and sometimes they'll have a couple of different ones there, and you're not sure, and you'll see the one that says guest Wi-Fi. Quite often, those are ones that have been created as middleman type things to steal your information.
Wow.
Go to the hotel one, and make sure you're on the one for the hotel that includes writing in a password that they gave you at the desk.
Or I think it's typing your room number and your last name, your name.
And some of them will have special Wi-Fi passwords that they'll give you too.
That's
on the little
true.
card. So make sure you have the right one. Other comments on that? You guys got anything else on that besides don't do it if you don't have to?
I advise strongly against using public Wi-Fi, period. Like I said, we'll be covering an information in a little later segment that will discuss some of the ways that you can secure yourself against public Wi-Fi hacking or unintentional access.
Okay, great.
Maybe I just need to start increasing my data plan.
It could be. It could be.
Or if the hotel is charging, be prepared to pay for the Wi-Fi.
Right.
Well, okay, and we have a whole list here, and they caught Brian caught that main one for us, didn't he?
Definitely that avoiding public Wi-Fi if possible, and don't fall for those fake free Wi-Fi accounts. It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because so often, even when you're at the mall and just doing research and looking at like they can do so many things. Like I didn't even know they can inject malicious software in your device just from free Wi-Fi. And I always thought the airport Wi-Fi was secure. I guess I was wrong.
You got to be careful with these things.
Definitely.
Not to mention, so if you do happen to use some of that public Wi-Fi, make sure you take the opportunity to forget the network on your phone, on your laptop. So don't just assume that just because you've closed it down and you're on the airport, that it's completely gone. The next time that you're there, it can automatically pick up your phone and do the same thing that it did last time.
See, that's a good one. What do you mean forget the network?
So once you're done browsing on the web or whatever it is you're doing on your phone, take the opportunity to log off of the whatever Wi-Fi network that you were on. And so they have that, the same as where you're able to find that Wi-Fi network and sign on. You can click that button that says connect automatically, click that off, and make sure that you're not going to pick up that network again the next time you're in that area.
See, and even, something I
even before you get on there, you can do the thing about you can click off that thing that says connect automatically when networks are in range.
That's right.
You can turn that off. Does that sound like a good idea to you, Huey?
Oh yes, I would advise.
Okay, so those are the kinds of things that we need to know where they are on our computer. Sometimes we get lost. That's where is that? That's in our control panel.
That should be under like your network options, or the little Wi-Fi on your task and manager.
Cool. Okay. So if you don't know where all these things are, it's time to explore your phone or your computer further.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Good Lord. Let's see here. Email. Did I miss anything that y'all needed to talk about?
No.
Okay. Good. Let's get. Kim, you want to run this one for us? Tell us about this.
These email precautions. What was interesting to me is the create separate emails with different purposes.
Good idea, huh?
I have one email account that I've been having forever.
Really?
For, like college days, like freshman year in college. And the only other email I have is work.
Yeah. It really does help. I mean, when you think about it, if you have newsletters you're signing up for, those are going to be a lot of spam stuff coming.
Yeah.
Have a separate one just for that.
Just for that.
Those contests you enter. Separate one for that. Because God knows what you're going to get out of that. And anytime you send something to a Nigerian prince, that needs to be on a different one, okay?
Yep.
Okay.
So they also said I have a professional website too. Professional email address.
Oh yeah, I have one.
That's true, because so many people will apply for a job and have that email that's a little questionable.
Right.
Well, not just apply for a job. If you're also, working in school, and you're paying for your school, all your information about your loans, or if you're paying, you don't want people to get access to that information either. So having a separate account from all those newsletters that you subscribe to is helpful.
Excellent.
The only problem is keeping track of all that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Track of separate emails and passwords.
Brian's got some ideas he'll help us with on that in just a little bit. Okay, what else?
So we talked about all those newsletters that you get and how they create a lot of spam. You know, making sure that you're taking an opportunity to clear your spam box whenever you can. So Google, if you have a Gmail, it will do so automatically after like every 30 days or something like that. But I kind of take it upon myself to just go in and clear things that I know are all those random things that you mentioned before, the Nigerian prince and those GoFundMe's. Just take the opportunity to clear out the things that are not supposed to be there, just in case nothing else is just lingering around.
And need to be careful about what we click on too, huh?
Yeah.
We definitely do. Never, ever, ever click on a link or an attachment from a sender that you do not recognize.
Right.
You know how I recognize them? They always put my name or like my whole email address in the subject line. That's not even my full name. They just put the whole thing in there. I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't know you.
That's a definite giveaway. Yeah.
And another thing that you can be very mindful of is when you look at the name of the sender and then you look at the email address that this correspondence originated from, if they do not match, you got to be very, very leery.
Yep.
So if the name of the physical person doesn't match a name in the email address, don't even worry about it. Just delete it. Don't even click on it. Also be very, very wary of attachments like a zip file or other compressed or executable files that could be contained within it. If you see an attachment like that, the best thing to do is just delete it.
Yes.
If this person is really trying to get a hold of you, if they're trying to connect with you, they will find another way to get you.
That's a good point. Yeah.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. So if we see the EXE on the end of a file, do not touch.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Or zip.
Okay.
Or any type of extension on a file.
Okay.
If it's not like a Word document or whatever,
JPEG or whatever.
Right. If you know something's coming from somebody, like a PDF file or those type of things, if you do not know that person, just delete it.
Okay. Good deal. All righty. Okay.
Something else that was interesting, Christy, as well, is checking your emails activity log, because that's something that I don't do. And they said that from what I understand, especially if you're using your Outlook account, they have a recent activities page, and it displays your account activity, including your sign-in information. So on this page, it lists like the date, the time, as well as the geographic location of each sign-in and sign-in attempt.
That's pretty awesome.
Isn't it? I was like, that's something that I should try and do it often.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll show us like different places that people are trying to sign in from?
Correct. And sometimes some of these, like I know I use Gmail as my personal email. It'll tell you like, hey, someone signed in at this location. Did you attempt to do this? And it'll tell you like at what country or whatever.
Oh, cool.
That's
okay.
It automatically emails you that, so it's just kind of cool.
All right. Definitely some things we need to watch for. Good stuff. I hope that y'all are listening closely out there, because this is some stuff that's really going to help us in the long run. Okay, so you had all of those that we talked about, and those are the basics that we want to keep in mind as we go through our emails. And the next one, the rules of online shopping or shopping anywhere with your credit cards or any electronic method. Brian, I think you wanted to start us off with a story of something that we should be aware of.
I do have a great story. Actually.
Oh boy! Ooh. Everybody just shifted back in their seats, like, okay, tell us.
Before Christmas, and this is something I don't ever recommend someone doing, is using your debit card at a gas pump or something where there's a potential skimmer device that could be attached. But I happened to be coming to work one morning, running late. It was about 5:40 in the morning. I drive from Hammond every day, so I have to leave really early. I was tired, just running late. I pulled up to the gas pump, threw my debit card in the gas pump, put my PIN number in, got my fuel, went off to work. And I came to work, got to work about 6:15. I set my phone down and I noticed there was a debit charge that I did not make in Compton, California at 6:12, about 30 minutes after I got fuel.
Wow.
So it was for $98. So I'm a little different. I have my bank account set to where it sends an alert
Yeah.
Anything over $0.
I like it.
Anything over $0,
They
every
get worn
account
out
that I
with me.
Not
have.
taking any chances.
Yep, but that's good.
So, my wife gets upset because she thinks I'm tracking her, but it's not a big deal. But, if I hadn't had that alert set,
Right.
I would not have known that there was fraud on my bank account.
Right. Yeah.
So, and the interesting thing is, I have Chase. So I called, it was still a pending transaction because it was less than 30 minutes. So I contacted my bank immediately. They said it was a good thing that I did contact them because they were able to reverse the charge on a debit card.
Mm-hmm.
If it had been gone through, I would not have been able to get that money returned to me. So now I make sure when I pull up to a gas pump or I make any charge, I use my debit card as credit only.
Okay.
So, it happened to me and I had to cancel my card. I had to get a new card. I had to carry cash, which I don't like doing, for about 3 weeks till my new card came in. So be careful.
And it happened all so quick too.
I
Isn't that
know.
amazing, that
It
fast?
doesn't take much time for them to
get from Baton Rouge to California.
Right.
Huey, was that during your vacation in California? I just was wondering about
I mean, with everything that we're covering, I feel like I should just cut everything up and start all over and start from scratch because I'm a walking advertisement on what not to do. I do everything on here.
And that's exactly why we had this as our topic, because so many people said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That these are the kinds of things that we do and we don't think about. You don't think about it till something happens. And then it's all of a sudden, oh dear, why did I do that?
And, you're absolutely correct, Christy, because myself, as much as I try to be as diligent as I am, it still happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As careful as I am, as much as I preach to my family, my adult children, my wife, it still happened to me because I was careless.
And we all have those moments when we're in a hurry and we're do it and we don't think about it. So some of the things that we have here, this is what we're talking about with checking the site, making sure that it ends with that S. Huey, that's the sign that we can tell that it's secure, it's encoding or something or whatever.
That's correct. Yeah. So HTTPS means you are navigating to a secure website. And sometimes another indicator, it could be a little lock symbol, a key symbol next to the URL of the website. And sometimes it displays on the bottom right-hand corner of your web browser too. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you're going to do something with money, make sure it has that on there, huh?
There's a lot of web browsers like Google Chrome and a lot of web browsers out there now are switching to forcing a lot of websites using a secure website with HTTPS. If you use Google Chrome, I think today, if you go to a site that is not secured, it'll say next to the web browser URL, say like not secure. So that's a good indicator too.
Okay,
that's helpful.
Yeah. We need to pay attention to those and not just click them away.
Right.
And Christy, we were talking about just a minute ago to follow along with the websites. We were discussing the skimmers that potentially could be in gas pumps. Well, now there's a new threat on the internet, and it's called eSkimmer.
Oh dear.
Now, an eSkimmer, it's similar to the skimmer in a gas pump, but it's attached to a shopping cart on a website that you could be shopping at, and they can steal your credit card information the same way. So that's why it's really critical to only shop with a credit card, not with a debit card.
Holy cow.
So e-skimmers are out there. It's a new thing that's coming on, and it's just like the ransomware. It's probably going to start gaining traction.
Okay.
So you have to be super, super, super careful when you shop online.
So when I'm shopping online and I, check out using PayPal, is that
PayPal is extremely secure.
Sweet.
Yeah. You got one right. You got one right.
Yeah, and I'm very, very glad that you mentioned that, because PayPal is one of those sites where if there is fraudulent activity on your account, you have the ability to regain those funds. You can get those funds returned.
Yeah, I think that happened to me like 2 years ago. There was some fraud on my PayPal account, and just log it back onto PayPal and kind of like they reversed the charges for me.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay. I'm getting so many comments on this. I'm the worst with online shopping. I have bank alerts as well. Oh yes, someone gets emails from people imitating companies like AT&T
Right.
and
Yeah.
Chase, yes, and they'll say, click on the link to update your information.
Yes.
Smart person, no,
Nope.
go straight to the site, to your regular account site, and see if it's real that way by going on there.
And one of the comments that was just there, they say they never click on the links from those companies, but they call. That's a very wise thing to do, is actually to physically call the company,
Right.
because most people will never reach out via email. They'll send you a physical snail mail to tell you there's an alert. Very seldom do they send email, so it's very wise to contact the company.
Okay. We'll get to these. Okay. Let's see here. What else do we have? Don't save your credit card emails. I think a lot of the things that I keep seeing are the things that I do because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's so easy and
Mhm.
So
convenient.
easy.
Yep.
Yep.
And I'm realizing that's not the best way to do business.
Correct.
Take the time, put those in there again. Don't save those credit card details online.
And that's my biggest downfall. Is don't save the credit card details.
It's hard because you're just going to be on there the next day shopping again.
That my postman knows that because he's bringing a box every day. Yep. Okay. Verify transactions weekly, or if you're Brian, every time you hear a text message. And beware of phishing. How do you define phishing, guys? Y'all are the experts on, well, not that you do it, but that you know about these things.
Well, there's a technical
there's a
definition, actually. It's where hackers impersonate a real company to obtain login credentials, personal information. Now, you'll probably see this in an email asking you to verify your account details, usually with a link at the bottom.
Okay.
Takes you to
Another fake website or something.
yes, that looks
Okay.
very real.
Okay.
Looks extremely real. May even have a Chase logo, or as one of the comments said, an AT&T logo on it. So to you, it looks real. It could be a Microsoft account. We've seen some that look extremely realistic.
Wow.
That must happen a lot because I feel like I've been getting a lot of emails from like my phone company or other companies, and they're telling me we would never ask you for your personal information through email or through text. So never send in information. So it must be that this is happening and occurring often.
It is. It's getting scary in some ways. And yes, something, Brian, we were talking about earlier was the fact that we sometimes feel like we're getting paranoid.
It's better to be safe than sorry. And, and I think we were talking offline before this started, when I was telling you that my wife used to kind of make fun of me for being so paranoid until we had our credit card account taken over. Now she is in the same vein as myself. She watches everything that she spends. She watches where she goes. So, all it takes is once.
That's right.
And your level of awareness is extremely heightened.
Yeah.
So, don't be that person. It's better to be over aware and overprotected than being taken advantage of.
Yep. And yes, maybe I am a little bit paranoid now. If y'all look closely, you will see that there is tape over my camera on the laptop now because of all the stories that I read about people, accessing the camera.
That's
Right.
I couldn't believe some of those. I mean, a school system, they got into the kid's computer, doing his homework, and there was a former Miss America or something who was hacked like that. So yeah, there's all kinds of things that are happening, and it does make us realize that we would like to be safe. Instead of being one of those examples. Let's see, what is our next one about? Let's see here. Oh, good. Browsing precautions. Okay, let's see here. We got a lot of notes on this one. There's some things that you can do to be more careful. How about if I get y'all started first, our IT guys first, and give us some ideas about the precautions, or if any of these ring true with you?
Well, one of the first ones I would ever say is never, ever, ever go to a site that you're not familiar with. Never. Because drive-by attacks are very prevalent. could be malicious code hiding on a website that the owner of the website is not even aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you'll see that with a lot of ads in a site that's extremely slow to load. That's when you start getting that, oh, I shouldn't be here feeling, because the website takes so long to load.
Oh.
You know, it could be a story about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that you really got to know about.
Absolutely.
That's a good story. That's me.
You're gonna click.
My wife as well.
I'm gonna click on this slideshow.
Right.
Yes.
So, you know,
I want to see.
so now, you know, when you go there and you can count to 1001, 1002, and it's starting to load, it's time to leave.
Oh, good
Because-
advice.
Because it potentially could be installing stuff on your machine
Oh.
or your phone. I mean, your phone is not off limits.
Yes.
Your phones, whether it's Android, whether it's iPhone, if you have a legacy Windows phone, which probably some people still actually do, you have to be extremely careful. There again, always be over cautious.
So it's not just a slow network or something like that. Because I get that all the time when I'm on social media or something like that. And there's that story that pops up, and I'm thinking, it's just a slow network. It's not always the case.
No.
Okay.
Oh, and that's scary.
Good to know.
Click out.
Good to know.
And okay, and you don't have to actually click on them. I mean, the thing is, it's looking for holes in your system and things that haven't been updated, or apps that have, you know, little ways they can get in there. So you don't even have to click. It's on the page and it's already looking, huh?
Absolutely. You know, also make sure your whatever device that you're using, whether it's a laptop, desktop, phone, make sure you're installing your security updates.
That's that is huge, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's very huge because we receive, of course, we're in IT, we receive weekly notifications that this application, whether it's Google Chrome, whether it's Adobe products, whether it's Microsoft, they're receiving regular monthly updates or updates as vulnerabilities become apparent. For instance, Microsoft, this is something that would interest a lot of the people in attendance. Microsoft releases security patches the second Tuesday of every month as a regular update cycle.
Let's remember that.
So
Second.
by Wednesday, if your computer is set to receive automatic updates, you should be getting a prompt to update your computer or to restart your computer because updates have been applied. Or you might actually see your computer has rebooted like on Wednesday or Thursday morning after the patches have been applied. You know, there's tons of sites out there that can tell you if there's patches being released for software. If you get an alert on your iPhone, your Android for an update, immediately apply that update as soon as you can, because there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Apple products, generally it's because there's a new feature, but there's also security updates being applied as
Right.
well.
And see, I'm the worst. I'll put it off because I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that right now, you know, and just let it go. And I'm still seeing the little red dot reminding me that I need to do this update.
Correct.
And that is a big no-no, isn't it? I forget that even like on the apps that we need to do the updates, because that's the same thing that's happening there. Is they're finding ways to get into our information.
And you can set it up on your phone. Some apps will update automatically. So that if you do forget,
good idea.
You may see it spinning. You know, it's taking its time to update if there's a new version of that app. So that way you don't even have to worry about it.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, that's real.
And that's a great point, because even like on an Android phone, you can go check the Google Play Store and you'll see like a 2 or a 5 or an 8
Right.
that says there's this many applications that need to be updated.
Okay.
There's a reason why they're being updated, because it's not just necessarily new features, it's also potential for security risk as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I used to always just think it was new features. Okay, yeah, we're starting to get some really good questions. How about we look at a couple of these?
So
If your debit card can also be used as a credit card, is it still safe to use, like at gas stations?
yes, it is actually.
Oh, okay.
Because if you use it as a credit card and there's a fraudulent charge, generally a credit card charge can be reversed rather quickly. But as I stated earlier, Chase, which is my bank, told me had that charge gone through and it was not still pending, I would not have been able to retrieve those funds.
Okay. So I can use my debit card. I just need to be sure to put it in as credit.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, good one. Good one. Oh, thanks for asking that one. Let's see here. What else do we have on these? Let's see here. Just a comment. After having my debit card hacked 3 times over the course of 2 years, my credit union has told me to check my balance daily.
Wow.
I think that's good advice. Yeah. Okay, another question. What is spear phishing? Oh, yeah, I saw that term somewhere. What is that?
Spear phishing, it's a more sophisticated phishing attack. It includes customized information that makes the attacker seems more legitimate. It's more just a simple term. It's targeted attack.
Okay. Oh.
It's actually targeted.
So it's really good. They're taking
Right.
it to the next level where
They
it really
can-
looks real.
Right. They can use your name, your phone number. They can refer to your agency, your entity, or in the email. Say, for instance, it's an email attack generally, and they'll trick you into thinking that they have some type of personal connection to you, whether it's to your supervisors, your upper management, or whatever. Because let's face it, a lot of our information for our agencies is available through our websites.
Yep.
So they readily have access to this information. So if they send a targeted spear phishing, then they can sound legitimate and they can trick a person into giving over personal information about whatever you're doing. If you're in fiscal department, whether you're in the IT department, training, whatever. So it's basically just a high level of social engineering.
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So we want to be careful about that one. Let's see here. Another question. Is it safer to shop via a company's app on your phone? So that would be like a Chewy
Amazon.
or Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon, Ipsy, DSW. Speak to some of you ladies. Lowe's, Lowe's has an app. Walmart has an app.
Okay, those are safer?
Yeah, it's much safer to use the app than it is through the website.
That's a good question.
That's a great question, actually.
Somebody else said, I also turn off all location services on my devices.
I do that too.
And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that with our phones too, because there's a number of things that we probably are not all doing the way we need to. Somebody else mentioned the automatic updates. And this was one we were going to talk. What you want to go ahead and talk about?
Sure.
A VPN and how it protects online activity. I always thought a VPN was just something companies had, or that it was one of those things that was so expensive that a regular person couldn't do it. Can you tell us about a VPN?
Oh, sure. So VPN, for those of you who do not know, stands for Virtual Private Network. So if you engage in a VPN product, say on your phone, one of the biggest companies out there is Symantec. You have Nord. You have so many different VPN applications. And so what it does, it installs on your phone and it creates a secure tunnel between you and the provider. So if you are on a public Wi-Fi, you are not visible. You're not physically visible to that Wi-Fi. You're using that Wi-Fi as your initiation point to get to the internet, but all your internet traffic goes to that provider.
You got your own little tube.
You got your own little tube, exactly.
Okay.
So anything that you do is protected, and they're relatively inexpensive. Matter of fact, we were talking before the seminar started, and I think Huey had mentioned that there were some that he had seen were as low as $3 a month for up to 3 users. So it can protect a small family on every device.
And it can for your phone and for your computer.
Correct.
And I think so. I think the VPN is you actually have a secured encryption.
Okay.
Right. So all your traffic is encrypted, so it's not visible.
Good.
Even if they try to get to the information, it's encrypted.
Correct.
Cool. Okay. So with that, you have that extra layer of security.
Right. So anything that you do online, you're protected.
Wow, this is good stuff.
But that protection is only as good as the company providing that VPN service, which generally now they have to adhere to a level of service. So it's very, very, very secure.
That's nice. Okay.
It's well worth the money.
I believe it. you know what I'm signing up for tonight.
It's well worth the money.
Okay, let's see here. Some of the things we had on there. Inventory of digital footprint. There's actually a cool thing on in the handouts that explains a little bit of how you could do that, just to see where your messages go, and it's just interesting to see it bouncing all over the place. The patching, that is of course the updating your apps and your all of that stuff, and we really need to be doing that regularly. Checking the website. Were there any ones that y'all wanted to bring up?
I just want to include be careful what you share, especially on social media. It's so easy to share a fake website, and half the time I may not even be really clicking on the website. I just may look at the title and find that that's interesting, and then when you actually click on the site, it's some random fake website that doesn't even connect to the story that you are trying to connect to. So you got to be careful what you share on social media too, and it may come from some of your friends who are also not actually checking that website, but it could look like it's coming from CNN, but it may say CNN.2. And then it's something completely different.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, boy, I tell you, I see people all the time who give specifics on their vacations on social media.
Yeah.
Leaving today for such and such.
Yes.
Oh boy, an empty house.
Right.
You know, that sort of thing. We'll be back. Da, da, da. You know, you gotta be careful about that
Gotta
stuff.
be careful.
You know, wait till you get home to post all your pictures, you know, or those sorts of things that you can be careful about, just so that people don't know that you're leaving a house totally empty, or what's going on in your life, or they have more information that's going to help them find out information, you know, that they need to know about you to get to your other information. Anything else on that one, y'all? Man, this is good stuff.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay, let's see here. Oh, password do's and don'ts. Okay. IT guys, biggest recommendations as far as passwords help us.
The more complexity in your password, the more difficult it is for that password to be compromised.
So ABC123 is not a good password.
No, or like your pet's name, 123 exclamation, is not the best password.
Yeah. On it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, birthdays, the year that you're physically coexisting in is not a good password.
Oh, shucks.
One of the biggest, you know, and you know, again, we were talking to the audience. We were talking about some of these items before doing some show prep. And one of the recommendations that I was given is to use a phrase. If you're going to do something, use a phrase that's easy to remember, because let's face it, we have so many passwords that we have to remember. Use something like "keep me safe," and you can abscond the numbers or letters with numbers. Like in keep, you can use a capital K, and instead of E's, you can use threes. Instead of using A's, you can use the ampersand symbol.
Cool.
You know, so you can abscond that way. If you do have to write it down to remember it, when you physically write the phrase out, it's still not the password.
That's
Right.
cool.
It's just a hint.
So,
you know, like no way out now, keep me safe, I'm scared, or something, you know, your favorite vacation, you know, those kind of things. But a phrase is a lot harder to guess than simple words like pet names or family name or year that you're coexisting in. That's probably my biggest thing.
That's good. Let's see. One person is asking right now, should I use a password manager, and how do they work?
Okay, so a password manager, there's one that we use actually here to manage our passwords within our IT section, and it's called KeePass. It's KeePass. So what it does, it encrypts passwords. It can auto-generate passwords, and it can manage multiple different types of passwords, whether it's websites, whether it's applications, simple logons. It can actually generate a password for this site or application. It can keep those, and you can actually just copy it and paste it without physically knowing the password. So you never have to know the password. it's kind of scary that you don't know the password.
Yeah,
but if you're using your computer a lot, and with this day and time when we have to remember passwords, 10, 12, 15 just to do our work every day, something like KeePass is a great thing because it manages your passwords for you. In simple terms, you have on your iPhone, you have a password manager as well, passwords and accounts, and it can keep track of every password that you have. Now you have to manually go and change it, but it's a great place to keep up with those passwords. Another thing, do not have the same password for every account.
Yeah.
Have multiple passwords for multiple accounts. Every bank account has a different password. Your security camera system at home, a different password. Your child's school has a different password. So it's a pain, but if you use a password manager, you can keep up with those passwords very easily and not have to remember them or write them down or leave them on a piece of paper or, God forbid, stuck under your keyboard at work.
Okay.
The good thing I like about KeePass is it's free.
Oh, even better. KeePass free.
Right.
My favorite price.
Right.
Okay, this is good stuff. All right, and this is stuff we want to keep in mind. As far as two-factor authentication, that's kind of interesting to me. It's making sure that it's not just a single layer that they can get to our information. What do we put in two-factor authentication?
Generally, a two-factor authentication is going to be some type of device. Let's say your Android or your iPhone. All of them now have a biometric reader or fingerprint reader on them. iPhone, of course, whether it's an 8, it's the button. On a newer device, there's still a biometric reader. On most of your Androids, it's on the rear, underneath the camera type thing. So that's your first layer. You can set that up to you only use your thumbprint. And of course, I would also recommend with that having more than one finger. So, yeah.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. And the second layer, of course, is your password. If you can't get into the biometric reader on your multiple devices, your iPhones or whatever, you also have the ability to put in your passcode and try to go with a 6-digit if you can instead of the 4, because the 4 is a lot easier to guess.
I know a lot of companies are using two-factor authentication. You could use, like, you put in the password and then it'll ask you what is the 4 digits of your phone number, and it'll text you.
Okay, so it gives you another question to answer. Okay.
So that is considered a two-factor authentication.
Okay, that's
a lot of banks use that
yes,
method
they do.
too.
Good.
They do.
Good. All right. So this is good stuff. All right. Let's see here. Okay.
I mean, it led us right into our next slide.
It sure did. What should we be careful about with our phones, Kim?
You're asking the person who does everything wrong.
That's why you know.
I mean, turning off Bluetooth, that's something I don't do as well because it's connected to my watch. And so my Bluetooth stays on. I'm just, you know what? My $5 is not protected.
Yep. Having that remote device locator, it's kind of cool. Where like find my phone type things. That's a good idea to have that.
I think 911 use that too.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they can triangulate
That's
your
good.
address, your location physically without an address.
Oh, cool. So if you didn't get a chance to say, well, yeah, if you're out somewhere where there's not an address,
and you dial 911 and you're not able to respond,
okay,
they can actually locate you with your device.
Oh, that's pretty darn cool.
So just a quick question though. Okay, so since what does the Bluetooth do? So since I have my Bluetooth on all the time because it's connected to my watch. So am I not safe because my Bluetooth is on?
Bluetooth is just another method of connectivity to your device. It's a simple method of connectivity. It's still over a wireless. So
it's still a possibility of a hack.
It is still a breach.
Okay.
A potential for a breach.
If y'all could see Kim's face right now.
I know what you're thinking. You got to track those steps.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Let's see.
And my heart rate.
Oh, they're asking once again, how is KeePass spelled?
-1 P.
Okay, so it's KEEPASS.
Correct.
And it is an app?
It is an application. is a physical program,
Okay. Okay.
and it's mainly for the PC.
Okay. Great.
Oh, okay.
All righty. Let's see here.
There's more than
Oh, there's
just
different
keypad.
ones. Okay.
Oh, there's more than
touch.
just
There's
keypads.
strong box. Okay. Okay.
We just have personal interaction with keypads.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Let's see here. Boy, yes. You know, you get those apps and you just forget about them, and you leave them on your computer, and it's like, or you leave them on your phone, and you don't think about it, and then chances are you probably don't update them. And boy, are you creating all kinds of opportunities for people to get to your information there.
Correct.
Huh? So we need to be very careful about that.
You know, thinking about that also makes me think about the websites that I may have automatically saved to my computer that maybe I don't visit anymore, but I've saved that password, and maybe some of my information used to be on that website, but I've never gone back and deleted that from my password keeper.
That's a good one.
So it's time to do some house cleaning.
Definitely.
Okay, I like this. There's some other questions here that we'll probably end up answering by email. Are personal hotspots secure?
That's a good question.
Ooh, the hesitation is scary.
Ooh, y'all threw him. Oh boy.
No, it's a tough one. It depends on whose personal hotspot it is.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. If you know the person, if you're in a room with someone and they turn on their personal hotspot on their iPhone or their Android, and they're able to use that tethering on their plan, then yeah, it's secure. I mean, because you're sitting across from that person, you trust that person, whatever. But as soon as you get through with that, you need to remove that wireless connectivity off of your device. Because if you're in proximity to them, if you work with that person and they activate it, well, you can potentially, not for security reasons, but you could be blowing up their data on their phone.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the comments and everything are just popping up. So yes, we will be sending out some emails after this to answer some other things. But we are running short on time. So I want to go ahead and get to our last part. I did want one other thing. You said, Brian, that there was a free software that helps with malware. And I would like to mention that to people for protecting them.
Oh, absolutely. It's a application. The name of it is Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes.
BY.
Okay.
Wait.
BY.
BY.
Yeah, okay. That computery talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Geek speak.
Yes. Okay.
So Malwarebytes is an application that monitors and trolls for malware, because nowadays you're more prevalent to get malware than a virus. I mean, viral worms are still out there and they're still being used, but nowadays it's mainly malware. And malware can be something defined as simple as an application that is installed on your computer without your knowledge. You don't have any control over it, whether through an email, whether it's through a website drive-by, and it could be something as simple as stealing your information that you're keylogging. It could be a keylogger, which actually physically records every keystroke that you make on your keyboard. And then it transmits that information back. Or it could be something simple as someone using your compute power of your laptop or desktop to perform a function for them. You know, they could get 15, 20, 30, 500 machines with this infection, and it can be doing something like Bitcoin mining in the background that you're not aware of. And you'll notice this by your computer's like, my God, my computer's so slow on the internet nowadays.
Man,
I just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's malware. And this
That's
application,
scary.
what it does, it scans for those infections. And it's not a virus, it's malware. And so it can scan for these, and it has signatures that it looks for, and it can automatically clean those out. It does a scan daily, weekly, whatever you set up. By default, when you install it, it sets the scan up automatically. And that's through the trial version. It's like a 14-day trial. And then after the 14-day trial is over with, if you decide to keep it as the free product, it's no longer automatic. You have to scan manually, update manually, but it still does the same function.
Okay.
You do not lose any
Cool.
functionality. So it's a great product to keep your machine clean. They offer it for the iPhone. I have it installed on mine.
Cool.
And I have it scanned. And so, with antivirus on my phone. When people say Apple products don't get viruses, that's not necessarily true.
Okay, well, good.
See, I was over that.
We have got such a list of other questions that we're going to be answering later, and we're going to go to more of this information because we've realized that this is a topic people want to know a lot more about. So basically what I want to do is just kind of finish up with the closing thoughts. If you could say one thing, one short thing to anybody about what they need to be careful about as far as cyber safety, Brian, what would you say?
You are not safe on the internet, period.
So if you're feeling paranoid, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a great statement, Christy, because if you don't feel safe, that means you're security aware.
Good.
And
Okay.
and there's no amount of comfort that you could feel on the internet. Every time you get on the internet, people could accuse me of being overcautious. My wife has done it in the past, but now that we've gotten breached,
Yeah.
she's really on board with everything that we do now. And she sees how easily it can happen.
Yes.
Something simple as a debit card swipe. But your computer's the same thing. Your phone is the same thing. Because a lot of people don't have computers. They just have their phone.
Yeah.
So anything that you do on the internet, whether it's Facebook, Pinterest, whatever social media platform, whether it's banking app or whatever you're doing, you are vulnerable and you are open to an attack, period.
All right. So you're not safe. Huey, anything you want to jump in and throw at us?
The only thing I can say is if something looks too good to be true, it's not true. So
Good one.
Ooh, that's a good
Yes.
we
Okay.
all seen those scams or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So yeah. So you're good common sense. Kalisha?
I would say if you're feeling like you are cyber safety illiterate, watch Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. Just for, I feel like it gave me like a cyber safety for dummies type of version that helped me out a lot.
I like that. All right. Kim.
The only thing I can say is beware those free Wi-Fi.
Okay. Some great points, y'all. Remember that the webinars do come up on YouTube. You'll be able to watch them there, but something even more exciting is that we are going to be taking this webinar for the first time. We're going to be doing it where we break it down and turn it into a class on Leo. So you will actually be able to take this webinar and extra information too, and be able to get credit in Leo for it. So keep watching for that to be happening. The handouts have a lot of the information we didn't get to today. So you just go to the talent development page and click on Success Series webinars and you can get to that. And finally, next month, because shameless promotion is my middle name. Our class for next month that we're going to be talking about is continuous learning. We have got a list of the places where you can get free training on so many things. And we're going to be sharing that with you next month on the third Thursday. We want to thank you all for being a part of our program today. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Man, y'all have been outstanding. I've learned a lot, and I'm going home to buy a VPN connection thing. All right, so thank y'all very much. We look forward to seeing y'all next month. And remember, until then, keep on learning.
Every day for every citizen.